Switch 2 is already out in the wild. Some people have gotten it already. Wildly enough. It coming wildly. I said wildly twice. Wild. This show is wild. Anyways, it's a day one patch already expected because people have gotten this. Don't know why they've gotten it. They've gotten it early. Who knows why they've gotten it early? Maybe they stole it. They probably stole it. But yeah, so if you get your Switch 2 next week, go ahead and be ready to connect to the internet because it's going to need a patch.
So I think this is pretty standard with consoles nowadays. We were talking about this earlier. I'm pretty sure it was the same for the original Switch and the OLED, but needing a day one patch for it to even function is... I don't like that so much because when you get one saying God knows how long and it doesn't connect to the internet anymore, then what? Can you not even play it on like the factory version? There is no factory version. You need the day one patch, or it just doesn't work.
It's interesting because everybody's been complaining about like key cards and everything like that, and oh, my game's not going to be on the game and everything. But I really think this is a much bigger deal because one of the main complaints about video games nowadays is you used to receive video games in their completed form. That did not mean they were perfect by any means necessary. There were still games that were very much broken when you bought them and got them. There was just nothing that could be done about it. But you did get that full game, and you were able to play it without connecting to the internet. Consoles used to be the same way. You used to buy a console, put a game in, and play it. Now, neither one of those are true. Now you have to update your game on day one, and you have to update your console on day one. How far is this going to go? Are the Joy-Cons going to need an update? The Joy-Con 2s, are they going to need an update on day one? Or are they a day two update? Since it's a Switch 2, which makes me think, should it be a day 2 patch instead of a day 1 patch? What with day 1 patch, I'm thinking that's the Switch. So, what are we doing here? Come on, Nintendo, get your numbers in order. All right, is it the 1 or 2?
I know this is an old complaint because this is pretty standard at this point that consoles need a day one patch. I still just don't like it though.
No, absolutely not. Anything that requires you to connect to the internet when the internet is not required to run it has always seemed weird to me. Like games in general, like for you to have to connect to the internet to update. That's not as big of a deal for something like the Switch because you can, even if you don't have internet at home, you can go somewhere and use Wi-Fi. Now, it's going to take you 32 years, but you could use their Wi-Fi. Like, say, for example, you want to go to Macca's, McDonald's for us Americans. You could download your day one patch on your Switch 2 while you're eating whatever y'all call your burgers over there. We call them a double quarter pounder with cheese. I don't know what that would be for you because you don't use pounds. Well, you do use pounds, but that's to pay for it. So
we have quarter pounders.
I'm not sure. Oh, you do? They're actually called that?
We measure the meat in pounds, yeah. Quarter pounders, double quarter pounders. The other meats are also measured in pounds. It's just that we don't tell the customers that. It doesn't say that on the menu. That's just how we distinguish which one. The context I work at McDonald's. We haven't actually said that. Most of you know, but.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, look, we're both supporting industries. I work. I'm not gonna say who I work for. I don't feel like it, but we're both doing things. The fact that you use a secret measuring scale or usage and your customers don't know about it, how would they feel? How would the customers feel if they knew their meat was being weighed in pounds? Huh? Would they be okay with this, or would they rise up against the corporation? Yeah. The Switch 2 has been getting a lot of things talked about. There was a Switch 2 dev that made a video showing off the mouse mode, but instead of using the little Joy-Con 2s, I'm going to say that funny every time because I think it's funny. The Joy-Con 2s weren't being used as a mouse. It was using a USB mouse that was plugged in. which just makes me so excited because that means my Razer Basilisk V Pro, whatever it is that my mouse is going to be used on this Switch too, and I'm going to have the, you know, advantage hardware wise over all the other people playing their Switch 2 games using the Joy-Con because you can't be better than this. This was voted the best best gaming accessory of 2020 whatever it was. It was a couple of years ago. It's a bit old at this point, but it still should be better than a Joy-Con 2. I'm gonna have an advantage. You see my username online, that'd be too many stands. For Nintendo, it's a two because I can't put that many numbers. And then Nintendo, can we do something about that? Can I have my whole name, Nintendo? Please stop limiting my characters. My goodness, that's yeah. So if you see too many stands running around, just know that I'm using a razor and
Be
gotta
scared.
get pretty sharp. Yeah.
It does seem to be intended as well. I was slightly worried at first that it was just like a developer tool or whatever, but when he
Yeah.
changes from the Joy-Con to the USB mouse, there's like actual pop-ups on screen that says, and they look like polished pop-ups, not the ones that you would put in for a developer tool. So it looks like it is intended,
Switch
and I don't.
Switch one pop-ups because it looks the exact same.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's interesting to me because Nintendo's going in a different direction than we've ever really seen Nintendo go because you can use third-party cameras with their system. You can use third-party mouse. Can you use two mice at the same time? I don't know. Maybe you can. But it's an interesting
I
way for
don't think
Nintendo to
so.
lean because Nintendo has always been, hey, you want to use our product, you have to use our product with our products stuff. You can't
Yeah.
just willy-nilly add. You want to charge your Nintendo Switch? Well, you better have a Nintendo Switch charger because if you plug anything else up to that, it may catch fire. So, it is interesting to
Yeah,
see
it does
them
seem that
lean
the
more
top
this
port
route.
you can just kind of do whatever with.
Yeah. So I'm curious, can I like hook up a PlayStation VR headset to the Switch too? Is that going to be a thing? Am I going to be able to do something like that? Because I imagine they will do
I don't
some
know
sort of
about
VR.
VR.
They did VR with the Switch 1, if that's what you want to call it. So, my question is,
So
are we going to
we
have
really calling
VR
that
with the
VR?
Switch 2? Where it's let's call it AR because it's augmented but not in a good way.
Well, speaking of Nintendo going
Not
in a different direction, Mario Kart seems to have a reverse mode. How do we feel about this?
It's um I get it. I mean, it makes sense because they used to have the mirror mode where you do the track, but then you do it backwards. And since these aren't really tracks that you run around in circles, you go from point A to point B. They're just making it where you go point B to point A. So it's
Yeah.
nothing new either. There are many games that have done this before. I haven't liked them. I don't know that I will or will not like this one. I will say I've
It's a
never
gimmick, you know.
taken
It
a
pads out
point
the
A to
content.
point B. Yeah, I've never taken a course frontwards and then backwards while being shot at by turtle shells. So that'll be a new experience, and we'll see how that goes. Plus, you can grind on the walls because that's apparently important or something. I'm interested to
I
see
do
how
want to talk
the
about how
gaming
we
for
found
it
out.
goes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
So Nintendo haven't announced that there's a reverse mode feature. They just kind of did an oopsie daisy, and people have figured it out because there's been the main trailer which shows, I forget exactly which course it was. It's either Mario Circuit or Luigi Circuit. I'm assuming Mario Circuit. One of the like loop ones, right? Mario Circuit, and there's like there's a loop part of the track where you kind of go back on yourself and you keep going. Um, and there's footage of them driving after this where it's going uphill. There's a new trailer, not like released everywhere. There was a Japanese TV trailer where they show the same course, but the mini map is like the other way around, and you're driving down the hill on this same bit. So it seems that you're driving the other way. So that's quite funny.
Maybe they were just streaming this game through Discord and it just had it flipped. I mean, because Discord does that, by the way.
Yeah, but it's just the mini map that was flipped. Yeah, I'm looking at myself twice here, and they're both the wrong way. This is why every time we point at something and we say, "Oh, this is on screen," we get it wrong every time.
Yeah, because like this is my left, but it's also my right, and then that's my right, but also my left. I think, hey, if I'm right here, let me know in the comments. I think Aiden is over there. I'm pretty sure he is, because over there you should see nothing. I would think. I don't know how your YouTube's set up, but mine's set up to where there's nothing over there. Unless you have another monitor, then there's no telling what's going on over there. Close that. Stop looking at that. Speaking of stopping things, Game, which is not a company that is American based, has been canceling pre-orders for the Switch 2 a week before the Switch 2 launches, which, might I add, has got to be some of the best timing I've ever seen. The only way you could make it worse is you could pull a Best Buy and be like, hey, you know that package you were supposed to get today? We're not doing that. So, look, the problem with companies is they oversell their product, and anything with a pre-order, you should have a set number. That's why you sell out. How do you mess this up? How do you mess up if you have a set number and you know how many you can sell? How do you mess it up? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
Because it's not like they were taking infinite pre-orders. Like, they sold out, and the number that they sold out at is apparently higher than the number they had.
This doesn't make any sense. How do you do that?
How do you...
You would think there would be some kind of something in place. Like, I have 1,000, but I sold 1,500. So how many Switch 2s does little Timmy get? None. He gets
just
0.
Lost some of them, you know.
Yeah, like
wild.
It's I don't understand it. The Switch 2, I will say, a lot of people have been complaining about the Switch 2 buying process and everything like that, and that comes with everything. Every system on the day of release is usually difficult to get, unless it's an Xbox. Is usually difficult to get. And the Switch 2, the one thing that irritates a lot of people is that we're in the year 2025 and we still haven't figured this out. We have figured out so many things. We have 4K on a Nintendo product, but we can't pre-order things correctly. What world are we living in? This is backwards. Nintendo was never supposed to do 4K. 1080p was like their max. That's where they were supposed to stop at. They were supposed to release that 10 years from now.
And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Speaking of their visual effects, though, you know that game with all the flat windows, Pokemon Legends ZA? We got a confirmed release day on it for the Switch 2. I'm assuming just the Switch 2. Did it say Switch 2 and Switch 1 or just Switch 2?
I believe it's a dual release on both, but the Switch 2 one, obviously. There's a Switch 2 version, and I'm assuming both release on the same day.
Okay. Well, October 16th. Mark your calendars if you like Pokemon games that just don't do what they used to. October 16th, 2025. You can get another one. Help make this one the best-selling Pokemon game of all time so that they think they did nothing wrong.
I'm hesitantly optimistic about it because they seem to have taken a bit of a step back in trying to release as many games as they have been doing. and obviously the massive backlash on Scarlet and Violet would hopefully. It doesn't look
Yeah, well, I mean,
great. Don't get me wrong, but hopefully will be better. Plus, I
yeah.
was skeptical about Assassin's Creed and saying that was going to be crap because the last few are going to be crap. And look at that. Now I'm
And then they
on
delayed
like
it.
minus 11 points
Yeah.
in the thing. So
Thank you for that.
maybe
I
it's
will say
fine. I
I
don't
am
know.
excited
Clearly,
though.
I have poor judgment.
I yeah. I am excited for we get a Pokemon Presents. It got announced. It's going to be June 20 or July 22nd, not June. The next month's June. Switch 2's June. Pokemon's July.
Which
Get
is insane. Have they ever
that worked
announced a
around.
Pokemon Presents 2 months in advance? I don't think so. That's insane.
Not that I could think of. It is a wild amount of like get ready for this time. It does make me it makes me the slightest bit optimistic that we're actually going to get some good news from this. Like perhaps we're going to
Hopefully.
get some remakes of the games I actually enjoyed. Maybe. Can we do that? Can we do that, Pokemon? Can we do that? Can I get an updated version of Silver, Gold, Crystal, one of them that I don't have to pay $300 for? Can I do that? Also, there's a point that I have said this in many conversations, and I don't think I've ever said it here, but I said it the other day, and the person I was talking to told me that I was brilliant, that this could work. Nintendo and Pokemon, they're pretty close together. What they could do is they could remake their old games the same way that they do Pokemon cards. You have editions, you have like a 1999 edition, you have a 2020 edition, but it's the same card. It's a new edition. 3DS games, Game Boy games, any of those, have them made to order. You have the ability to make them, have them made to order, because I would buy a Pokemon Soul Silver version 2025 brand new from you for hell $80. I'll pay you 80 for it because that saves me $140 from buying it from some random Joe on eBay that's used and may not even be real because it's probably a rip. So I'll go on record and say it, and I'm pretty sure there are many other people that would. I'll pay you your $80 for that game that I want that other people are charging $200 for. Okay, I would. So why don't we do that? Why don't we just take those old games that you own, because we can't own them. We're not allowed to own games apparently, but you own them, make them, and if people order them, sell them. And people will order them. Pokemon is the biggest franchise in the world. People are going to buy these games.
Selling
Let us have them.
physicals would just be not profitable. You couldn't do enough to be worth keeping the machines around to print them.
I feel like it really so it could be something that's more generalized, like there's only one certain place that does it or whatever, and if you have to pay a tariff or whatever for this specific product to come from there, because it's like limited run. It's you can get it, but it comes at a premium. But some of these games come at a premium anyways, and you're not getting a premium product. So why they could at least try it. Look at the games that people are selling wildly, like Heart Gold, Soul Silver. If anything, just rumor it. That way the prices on those drop so I can buy one from someone else. Because that's what happened with the 3-pack, like the Mario Sunshine and all those games that was on the Switch that was like way overpriced. Like the moment they announced GameCube games on the Switch 2, the value of that decreased. It went from like $200 for an unopened one to you can get an unopened one for like $80 now. It shot down. It is depreciated so fast. It's funny to watch. You were saying about
I was saying I think the best thing they could do was to just either re-release them physically, as in make like a Pokemon collection Switch 2 game that just has loads of old Pokemon games on them, or to do it
that's a good
digitally as
point.
part of like NSO. I think the reason they don't doing that, and
Yeah.
this is me getting a little bit tinfoil hat here, I think the reason they don't do that is because if they made it super accessible to play like Soul Silver and stuff, people wouldn't buy the new one because like not as many anyway. I feel like people would
Okay,
just
you
play
you
them.
you are right. I feel like if you make all the older Pokemon games available on newer consoles, people are going to skip a lot of the newer games. That's why if you are going to release them, don't release them in a form of like NSO. You're going to have to release the whole game because you're going to need to make up your profits
Yeah.
from what you're going to lose when people don't buy your new game because they're buying the old one. Which is fine by me because if you look at the Pokemon games that are more popular, at least, unless you count Scarlet and Violet because it sold the most. But let's just remember that was in a time where the world was like, "What's going on?" So they were like, "Let's buy Pokemon and forget about it." They have these older games that are made really well that they've remade, some of them multiple times. So stick to what you do, Pokemon. Just remake what you've already made and let me buy it. I'll buy it. I will. That's it. That's end of statement. Make the game you've already made so I can buy it. That's all I have about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I am
I
gonna
don't
I
really
am
have a
gonna
good
jump
segue.
around
We
a
have
little
like
bit.
a block of like Switch and Nintendo stuff, and then just like everything else.
Yeah.
And there's no easy way.
Well, see, I had one talking about remakes. Ubisoft, Tubisoft, Tubisoft to not be soft. Who knows? Has been posting Black Flag memes, which has got fans thinking that Black Flag is going to be remade. Now, problem here with me is I don't need it remade. I personally, they put the PS3 version, they ported it over to PS4, which means you can play it on PS3, PS4, and PS5. Are the graphics much better? No. Are the graphics much better from that game to say Shadows? In my opinion, not really. It looks like a video game. And you may be upset about that, and you may be like, "Well, the textures and the frames per second." Like everybody complains about frames in their video games nowadays. I don't recall anybody complaining about frames back in the PS3 era. Nobody was complaining about, "Oh, well, look at the system just lagging." No, nobody was complaining about them then. Now, it's all we complain about because games are trying to do too much with these graphics you so dearly need to be able to see that blade of grass looks more real than that person that will never look like a real person no matter how much they try to make them look real. It's like they reached a point of making people look so real that they skipped a stage. Like it went from people looking fake to getting really close to looking real, and then they just switched to the other side of looking too real and they don't look real. I don't know what they did with people, but they messed it up. They missed the mark. And that happens in a lot of games. Like I've been or playing some games that are a little bit older, and it's just like they're that close to figuring out how to make people look real, and then just for some reason we've gotten further away from it now. I don't know what the plan there is, but yeah, if you're excited about Black Flag being shinier, um, it may be happening, may not be. Who knows?
I think Black Flag is put on a bit too much of a pedestal. Like it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but people treat it like it's the best Assassin's Creed ever made in every way, and I'm like, is it? Really?
As it's not. It's one of the best pirate games that we have that exists, but that's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be an Assassin's Creed game. So I will say, speaking of pirate games, I did read a thing about PlayStation is adding back bonus games or free games or whatever it is that they had taken away, but people complained about it. So they're going to be adding those back if you're a PSN user. Wait, it's not PSN anymore. PS Plus, PS Ultra. If you pay $100 and something a year to be able to use PlayStation servers, you know who you are. They're adding games back. I saw one of them is going to be the groundbreaking pirate game that is Skull and Bones. So if you felt like you weren't getting your $140 out of the year's worth, shit, think again. Skull and Bones is going to be free to you. So you putting your money where your games are. You know what I'm saying? You could also just buy the game for like $6 from anywhere else, but you could spend 140 a year and play it for free. So do with that information what you will.
If you like pirate games, you should play Republic of Pirates. I think I'm in the credits of that one. They didn't give me a free copy, so I haven't bought it to check. But I think I'm in the credits of that one.
Really? Why have I not known this? Why have you not said anything about this? You need to check and see if you're in the credits of it. If you're in the credits of it, sir, we start using that to make this a little bit better.
I didn't
like
do
that
anything
from
on
that
the, I
one
just,
guy
I
that
just
made that
playtested it.
that was in that one game. Well, play testing is, someone's got to do it, right?
I guess so.
It's important.
I can't remember which.
While we're on the
title I
topic of
voted for.
PlayStation. Oh, can you not?
PlayStation.
Oh, well, okay. So while we're on the topic of PlayStation, we got some big news from Hellblade 2, or you know what it's called. I'm not going to say the whole name, but Hellblade 2 is getting a physical. Well, first of all, let's say it's coming to PlayStation. That's a huge deal. It's already on the store. You can see it. And you can buy the digital edition, but it is also getting a physical release. Now, the article that I specifically read gave us a little bit more information than we asked for, and some of it doesn't make sense. We're getting a physical edition for the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and according to them, the Series S. We're going to get a physical release of Hellblade 2 for the Series S. I don't know where you're going to put that game. I don't know how you're going to play that game, but you're gonna get a physical edition. So maybe you just set it on top of it, and it just knows what's up.
I imagine the physical comes with like a download code, but that makes me wonder: do all of them just come with download codes, or do the other versions have?
That is a good
discs?
point. Because there are many games that come in a physical edition that very much aren't. You get a case. That's the physical part of it.
Yeah.
So
you get an empty case
it will be
and
interesting
a
to
leaflet
see.
with a download code on it.
Yeah. The one thing that makes me hopeful about getting a disc and everything is that it's being made by Limited Run, which is, a pretty big deal in the gaming sphere. If you're a gamer and you actually know what Limited Run is. If you don't know what Limited Run is, look them up. Check them out. Great company. They make games that we haven't really gotten a physical release for, or maybe it was ported over, but a physical was never dropped. They pick some of those up, and you buy them while they're available on their site. And you may look at the prices, and you may be like, that's a little bit expensive. It only goes up from there. So if you want it, get it from there. Don't think you can get it later. It'll be double what it is on there. So support them and buy their game from them.
If any of you are avid Across the Pondcast watchers, you may remember several weeks ago we talked about the Doom physical. I believe that was also Limited Run. Or was that someone else?
Right. I feel like it was Limited Run. Limited Run was
so.
doing. We actually talked about Limited Run a couple of times on the show. I feel like because there was like a frog game or something, or a crocodile game or something or another. Came with like
Legend
a whole...
of the Gobbos. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
wasn't
Limited
that
Run. Was
Limited
that
Run as
Limited
well?
Run? I don't know.
I thought it was.
Maybe.
What is interesting is that Hellblade 2 is not getting a Switch 2 release. I would have thought that it would, because a lot of the games done by Limited Run, they release for every console because they got to make their money out of it. So I would have figured it would have got a Switch 2 release. Look, they've put some wild games on the Switch 1 that may or may not run. So that's why they're limited. Uh I would
I
have figured
fully thought
Hellblade
you were
2 would
about
have
to
been.
say because it's Hellblade 2, it must run on the Switch too. I fully thought that's where you were
Well, it
going with
makes
that.
sense. Well, I'm glad that you thought that for me, because then I didn't have to. Thank you for saving me that brain power. But yeah, Hellblade 2 on the Switch 2. Hey, yo. But then they've got to make Hellblade 1 for the Switch 1. And that's not gonna work too well. So
We need
I'm
it on the
I'm okay. I want
PS2.
it. I want it for the PS5. So this is my thing. If you're gonna order Hellblade 2 from Limited Run, stay away from the PS5 until after I've confirmed that I've gotten one, because I'm gonna get one. I might get two. It's Hellblade 2. I
Oh,
should have
calm
two of
down
them.
now.
Okay. Well, I really do want this, because I haven't. I played through Hellblade 1 all in one sitting. It took me like 8 hours or so to just beat it. I was live on Twitch at the time. My name was completely different. It's hooked to it. The whole VOD is on a YouTube channel that is associated to the old name that I used to have on Twitch, and I have it physically for the PS4. I did not get it because when it released, it was available on Xbox only as digital, and you could get it through Game Pass. I didn't want to. I don't want to do that, so I didn't do that. And plus, everybody else was playing it, so it was like everywhere. I didn't care to play it. But now that it's coming to PlayStation 5 and I can use my DualSense Fortnite controller, I will absolutely be picking this up. Hopefully physically, so I can add it to my collection, because it'll look good.
You do
It
like
also
your
said it's a
collection.
box set. I do. I do. I love my collection. Sometimes I just look at it. I don't even play the games. I just look at them. Um, it did say it was coming with a box set, so I'm not sure if that means like the Call of Duty like big box set, if it means like this little Pharmagia like little box set, or if it just means a slip cover. I don't know what box set necessarily means. Is it going to come with a VHS version? Possibly, 'cause that's what box set used to mean. If you're old enough to know, which apparently, according to our YouTube analytics, you are. So, thank you.
That's true. Also,
But
you're all
speaking of,
dudes. Shocker. But anyway.
yeah, yeah, that is a good point. Hey, my guy, appreciate you, each and every one of you. But speaking of things that I collect, and since we're in this section anyways, that is for the College Football 25. We don't talk about sports much here, but I'm an avid sports gamer fan as well. That is the Steelbook
I
for
don't know
College
much about the
Football
sports
25,
ball.
which released last year. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's fun in real life too. I used to play, but now I don't. So, so I play it in video game form. The Steelbook for College Football 25 was released last year along with a game. College Football 26 was announced a month ago at this point. There was no sign, like no signs of a Steelbook at all for this year's game until this week. It dropped. College Football 26 will receive a Steelbook. It is a Walmart exclusive, just like how the 25 was a Walmart exclusive as well. It's the same price. There's no price increase. They are two separate listings. You can get one for $69.99, and it's just the game, or you can
Nice.
get one for $69.99, and it comes with a Steelbook. Pretty easy choice there. If you've already pre-ordered, though, I will say you're not getting the Steelbook. You're kidding. There's a reason why it's two separate listings. That's because all the people that pre-ordered before now are getting that first listing. So you could cancel and pick the other one up, though, because they haven't charged you for it yet. It comes out 2 months from now. So they shouldn't have charged you for it. Maybe they have charged you for it. I don't know. They charged me for mine. I pre-ordered it this morning. So we'll see. But They have released different versions of this game too. There's like the Ultimate Edition or whatever. One problem I do have with sports games is you don't really get much with it. It's all like you get a E pack, not you, not you pack, like a electronic pack. So calm down. If a game came with you, I'd buy two. But it it has they have all these like player cards and stuff that are digital. I don't care for that. So buying ultimate editions of games like that, which don't come with a physical copy. Also, I don't understand what the deal with that is. Games that are the deluxe edition not having the physical copy, but the basic edition has the physical copy. I feel like if it's deluxe, it should have everything that's base and more. But it doesn't. It's just they sell you other stuff, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about college football. Why don't we use this time to talk about what you're excited about?
Baby, it's Silk Song news time. This week, ladies and gentlemen, it was a stretch to find some news. But the, the Silk Song Xbox page was manually edited this week. What was it edited for? We don't know. Who was it edited by? We believe Team Cherry, if the timestamps are correct, but maybe it was Xbox, we don't know. What was it edited for? We don't know. But by dawn, it was edited. That is all. But so it was edited.
If I had to make a speculation, I would say that they might have accidentally leaked something and then realized it and took it away.
Maybe.
That seems to be happening by companies.
Is that they edited something on the back end that we can't see in time for Summer Games Fest when it will go live. And because we can only see the timestamp of the fact that something happened, we can't see what happened. My guess is that when Summer Games Fest rolls around, or whenever they do an Xbox thing, maybe not necessarily at Summer Games Fest, but at something like that, then it will.
Which both are
the
next
change
week.
will be published. Yeah,
yeah. I can assume that they probably put in like a timer of some sort that when it hits this day, it shows what the release date is. Like they've got it auto set up to where when it releases, when it gets to a certain date. Is it? That would be wild. To have somebody on that. Like, could you imagine they're watching the Xbox showcase and a guy sitting over there watching the video feed and he's like, Now, do it now, make it live.
Yeah, probably. That doesn't seem that wild to me.
That's considering how advanced technology is. That seems a little old.
Well,
fashioned. In my opinion.
Because if the show's running behind at all, and you've got it on an auto timer, it's going to release before they've set it. So there probably is just someone at Xbox during the Xbox. I imagine there's a fair few Xbox employees clocked in during the Xbox showcase to do that.
Well, you could always just leave it to Nintendo to show your game off for 3.5 seconds, even though it's one of the biggest games that we've been waiting on for years at this point.
True.
Nintendo doesn't know that.
What a Chad move.
It's a game.
They're like, look at this new console. It's so cool. This is only worth 3 seconds.
Yeah.
We got Elden Ring.
Nintendo really showed out with that one. Yeah. We've got Cyberpunk. That game nobody really liked when it first came out. It works now, though, and it's going to work on the Nintendo Switch, too. Also, there's a Hollow Song Silk Knight. I said Hollow Song Silk Knight just to show how big Nintendo was going with it. They believed in themselves that much. Hollow Song Silk Knight coming to a theater near you
this summer.
I just
Worlds collide.
I just came up with an interesting idea. You know, there are movie theaters where like you can rent the theater out to play like video games on the screen and stuff. I want to
Hmm.
plug up a Switch 2 dock and see if I can get 4K in a movie theater screen.
Mario Kart World on the
That
big screen,
that
day one.
yeah, Mario Kart World in a movie theater. Whoa, that makes me wonder about the split screen capabilities because do you imagine like 24 players on one screen?
Jeez, it would not be able to run that.
They'd be this big. Well, I mean, between all of them, they might equal 10 frames if you add them all together.
Maybe,
So
maybe.
we haven't heard anything about that though. We've not heard how many people will be able to locally play Mario Kart World, unless
I
I've just not
imagine
paid
4,
attention.
but no, I don't think they have said actually.
I
So
would,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe more.
I would hope maybe it's more. Maybe it's
They
Maybelline,
also have to
but
get it to work in handheld mode though, so I can't imagine it's many more than 4, if at all.
well, you would think with Nintendo, being all insightful and all knowing that they would make some kind of way to where like there's a gaming difference between because like with the Xbox Series X and Series S, like
Maybe.
obviously the game you plays knows that hey, this one isn't as powerful, so it's not as good of a game, even though it's the
Yeah,
same
maybe.
game you own across both consoles. So maybe there's a mode that the console can set itself
Good docked
into,
thing,
knowing
yeah.
that hey, this is handheld. That would
Maybe.
that'd be interesting to know. We're gonna look into it. Next week I'll have one. I'll, actually I'll have two. So we'll test some things.
Let's make sure you tune in
That
next
that'll
week.
actually be very
What's going
convenient.
down?
Oh, so much is happening next week. Next week, it's possible. We haven't confirmed it yet. We did kind of confirm it, but I'm just saying it at this just in case it changes. But next week, there's a potential that there's 2 episodes. 2 for the price of 1. 2 for the Switch
Probably
2
gonna be
release.
2.
2 for the I ran out of things to say 2, but 2.
You know what
Too
else is
many
getting
stands.
a 2
That's my
slapped
name.
right onto it? Cyberpunk.
What?
The Cyberpunk sequel has officially shed its codename that it has had for the longest time, and it is now branded specifically as Cyberpunk 2. That title, worth the wait, I tell you. Honestly, the amount this tells us about the game, unfathomable, unprecedented. Dare I say a third thing. This is insane, and I cannot wait to see the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested to know because I made this point before. I'm interested to know, is this a prequel? Because if it's just called Cyberpunk 2, where's the other 2075? Because it's Cyberpunk 2077, right? Where
Yeah,
what happened?
I feel the need to
Did
double
we
check.
did we go back in time? Yeah, because I'm certainly curious because if you had Cyberpunk 2000 something something and then you've got Cyberpunk 2, where are we? What year is it? I need this information. If you spoon fed it to me for the first game, you're going to have to spoon feed it to me for the second game. I'm not just going to carry that knowledge over. I still haven't even played Cyberpunk 2077. I think it's 2077. I keep saying it. The more I say it, the less confident I am about it. But I'm pretty sure
Well,
it's
it probably won't
2077,
be
which
called
means there's a
Cyberpunk. It was 2077. It probably won't be called Cyberpunk
yes.
2 when it releases. This is an internal name, I should preface. It just means they're no longer calling it Project Orion and like pretending that it's not Cyberpunk.
I think they should rip it and ship it. Cyberpunk 2 sounds like a good time. It sounds like it's set in a time because think about it. If it's cyberpunk, but it's only the year 2, what's cyber back? 2023 years ago. What is it? Were we an advanced species that degraded over time due to some kind of civilization falling apart? Like, were we?
I kind of hope
How
they
do you
just
know?
call it Cyberpunk 2078. Just rip it. Just go from there.
Pull an Xbox and just multiply it by 2.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 4,140 or 54. Yeah. Cyberpunk 4,154 coming to
I'm
a store
excited,
near
man.
you. Maybe digital only, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Maybe it'll be available on the Switch 3 because I don't. It's not going to be available on the Switch 2. We just got Cyberpunk to run on it, so that'll be interesting to see
Hopefully, it
whether or
doesn't
not.
take 10 years and then run terribly when it releases.
Yeah, I will
Maybe
say
then.
it's definitely going to have a day one patch. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. It probably they just figured out the code name situation, and it probably already has a patch.
Well, hopefully it actually comes
So,
out and
cool.
doesn't get cancelled before it's finished, much like the Black Panther game we are now no longer getting.
Oh yeah, so true, so true. EA, what are you doing, EA? What are you doing? You scrapped the Black Panther game? Well, what's that? What's that about? You're shutting a whole what is that? A development team down? Cliffhanger Games? Is that like a whole team that they just shut down?
It's a whole,
EA, you're not
whole
Microsoft.
studio that they've just.
Yeah, stop it. Like my
Apparently,
goodness.
they are
Apparently the next. Yeah, go ahead.
trying to focus on the main money makers, which would be, like Apex, the Jedi, FIFA. Well, it's not called FIFA anymore. You know what I mean.
It's called
Um,
it's called FC. FC.
FC.
Yeah, I have
Still the
one.
same every year. Um,
It's just a number behind it.
Apparently, the next Jedi game is safe, but I feel like they've said this before. Who knows? And there have been quotes from people at the company. I believe it was one of the lead designers that said this. That morale at the company is at an all-time low because things could just get scrapped at any time. They've been working on this project for God knows how long.
Yeah. I say a lot of people don't think of it that way, but just think of it. At any point, your job that you have could just be done. It
Yeah.
could just be done. You're expecting to go to work tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after, but you could be fired right now and not know it yet because you haven't tried to go back to work. Just saying. If anxiety is something you deal with, I just gave you a little bit more. You're welcome.
It is really sad
Now we
to
just need
see.
to be
Every
sponsored
time I
by
see,
somebody.
every time I see studio closures and layoffs and things, it's just because they're never necessary. They're never things that are actually
Absolutely not.
worth getting rid of. They're always just trying to save money. Oh, this might not make quite as much as we want it to, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
it's it's
always an
always
overhead
just
thing. It's so ridiculous. Like the team that did what was that game? What was the surfing game? Like with the really good music, they made a second one or whatever. It was the X. I think it was the Xbox game.
Club Penguin.
What was it called? No, no. It was a skating game. It was a skating game, and like you can do graffiti on the walls and stuff or something. I don't remember. It was a very colorful game with a very specific art style. If you know what I'm talking about, could you please put it in the comment because I can't think of it at this point. But they released another one. They released a newer one, and that game sold way better than anybody thought. The game was way better than anybody thought, and then they shut down the team like a month later, which I find to be just absolute like if you shut down the team that developed the game, you should no longer be allowed to sell that game. the game should cease to exist, so your profits cease to exist, so that way you're not getting the money that that team should have been making. My opinion,
Maybe
it'd be
they
fair.
have to give it out for free. Maybe not. The game must be destroyed.
Well, then I mean, if you give out the
Sacrifice.
game for free, then all those people's hard work is just being given away for free.
Better than it being
And you're
lost to
getting very
time. You remember that Batgirl movie everyone liked? Oh wait, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's it's out there somewhere, but I thought we were more of like a PG-13 channel. We weren't going to talk about what we found on that website that one time. But
hey yo.
yeah.
Speaking of PG
Yeah,
13,
it is.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
There's plenty of not very PG 13 things about Sonic the Hedgehog, but I digress. Sonic
Really?
Racing Cross Worlds, the new competitor to Mario Kart World, that I'm sure will release nowhere near Mario Kart World because that would be stupid.
They know better.
Have released some
they're
new
not-
gameplay footage.
They're not Devolver.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. There's been a bit more footage released, so we knew that in the game we were gonna have the extreme gear and stuff from Sonic Riders, but it wasn't in the closed beta test, and we hadn't really seen it yet. They've now released footage of that. It's like 20 seconds
wild.
long, and you
Yeah.
hear Jet's
So
voice
you have
actor.
a moment. Yeah. I'll tell you what, you take
Yeah.
20 seconds right now, you go check that out. We'll be right here waiting.
I'll probably throw it up on screen so you can watch it while we're talking. But
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. It's just 20 seconds. What's 20 seconds in this video, right?
what is 20 seconds?
I don't know.
But yeah, it looks cool. I'm excited for Cross Worlds. I've liked the last few Sonic Racing games.
I'm excited.
Obviously,
to see
they'll
a Sonic
never
game.
be.
That's cool.
Jesus, that. Okay, so that show. I don't know if you've seen. I'm gonna digress slightly here. I don't know if you've seen, but people took that at face value when I posted that clip.
Uh-huh.
The clip,
they
if
been
anyone
commenting?
hasn't seen it. Oh yeah. The clip.
Oh,
If anyone hasn't seen, it's Stan pretending he doesn't know that there are Sonic games and he's only aware of the movies, right? And the clip is titled like Rage Bait or like World Class Rage Bait or something like that. Like the word Rage Bait is in the title. And all of the comments are just, this has to be Rage Bait. There's no way this guy doesn't know that there's Sonic game. This is the most Rage Bait clip I've like. Yes. That was the point.
In case you guys didn't know, I'm a world-class trained actor. And if you need me, you can find me on my Cameo link, and I will tell somebody you know happy birthday in a very professional way. I'm gonna go make a Cameo
To be fair,
profile now.
it got a crap ton of views, so I'm not complaining. But it's one of our best performing shorts now.
I'm here to do the work. You know what I'm saying? If people want to be mad at somebody, you can be mad at me as long as you're watching. That's all that matters. Your comments can't hurt me because I'd be getting a little dark if I finished that sentence. So yeah, I don't even know how TikTok works. I opened it one time, it sent me to a video that I didn't like, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. No, nothing that I open should send me to something that I'm not searching for. Okay, that's where people get brain rot from. That's how you wind up scrolling your phone for 20 hours out of a day. It's because when you open the app, it's like, you want to watch this, and I'm like, no, I don't. I'll search for what I want to watch for. That's why I'm a YouTube guy. I watch YouTube. It opens up.
Fair enough.
I can scroll if I want to, or I can search exactly what I'm looking for. That's that. Thank you for coming to my YouTube talk.
But before we get
Yeah.
on too much of a tangent, I believe we only have one more point.
1 point. This week's final point.
Assassin's Creed Shadows gets a mission in Dead by Daylight. I haven't played either. I don't really care. Apparently it's cool. Go check it out.
So minor edit here. There was actually 2 points. So now there's one left. Final point.
Oh yeah. I forgot about this one. Oh, this one's really funny as well. We're professionals. So a Persona 4 remake has been inadvertently confirmed because the voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, you probably know him. He's everywhere. He is, Spider-Man, Ben 10. He's in Persona. Took to Twitter to say that he wasn't hired for it. He tried to get the part and didn't get it. Little did maybe he know when he posted that the general public didn't know that there was a Persona 4 remake in the works.
Well, he's one of two things. Either he was probably not reached out because maybe they felt like he was too big now, given his success recently, and he's posted this to make them go, "Oh, dang, we have to have this guy as part of our game now." So this could be a move by his management to get him back into that game.
I imagine it's just a little bit of a screw you guys. I'm leaking your game because you wouldn't hire me.
Yeah. I say it's hilarious. As a matter of fact, can we get more games leaked by people who aren't working on them, like a sequel or something? Can I get someone from any of the companies that worked on Fable to tell me when the hell am I going to get the next Fable? Can I get that? I'll take that and nothing else. You don't have to tell me anything else about any game coming in the future whatsoever. Can I just know whether or not I'm going to get Fable? Because Xbox has been giving me the runaround for the past 20 years. Okay, it hasn't quite been 20 years, but it felt like it. Hopefully that'll be something about that on the Xbox showcase or whatever. Like, just give me a date, man. I'm so tired of waiting at this point. Like, I was excited when they said Fable was coming out. This is a bit of a tangent. We're just going to wrap up after this. But a bit of a tangent here. Fable was supposed to release this year after, supposed to have been released for the past 5 years. Then they push it back to next year. I was prepared to spend any amount of money I needed to buy a collector's edition, buy a regular. I was going to have probably 3 different versions of this game across any console that it was available for. I would assume Xbox only, but now anything's an Xbox, so maybe I'd have it on my light bulb. Who knows? Now, I don't even care. If they released the game tomorrow, I wouldn't buy it. I've been running around. So I'm kidding. I would absolutely still buy it, but I won't be happy about it. I was happy about it. I was excited, and they've taken that away from me. Why? Okay, that's it. I feel better now. I just had to express it.
Good.
Yeah. They say don't hold things in. I'm working on myself. So.
We done?
That was all the points. So, hey, everybody, look, if you're still here at this point and we've gotten through all the points and now we have no point, what's the point, But thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you if you're watching the shorts, if you're watching the long form video. If you are, we're going to try to work a way around trying to get some like extra content out there. Maybe it's a potential, no promises here, but a potential that we create some shorts that aren't specifically what we've already had in the full length video. That way you're getting a little bit more from the shorts than, just rehashing what you've already seen if you've watched the whole episode. It's a thought. I'm not saying it's promised, but it's a potential. Maybe we'll get there. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Uh, just yeah, it's we do have a lot of big stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks, especially next week with the Switch 2 launching, summer games on Sunday. There's an Xbox thing. There's been rumors of a Sony PlayStation thing at some point. We don't know. We've been talking about possibly having some guests on the show. Like the next month or so is going to be very hectic. So no promises that if we do great, I said that. Awesome. Clip it, chat. Um if we do anything like that, it may be a bit before we get into that format, but we're trying to make it to where there's more out there. If you found us from the shorts, thank you. Also, you're still here, so we kept your attention, and we appreciate you as much as apparently you appreciate us. So, I'm Stan of this lovely thing we call Across the Podcast Gaming, and this
I'm Aiden. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you a lot next week. Bye bye now.
Yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. All right, bye.